today is Graham Gouldman from 10cc, iconic band from this, and he's iconic just for many hits he wrote in the 60s before he was even in 10cc. I mean, this is a legend that we have joining us today, and they're going to be at the Carteret celebrating the anniversary of 10cc on September 13th. And welcome.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
So happy to have you here. Now, I wanted to ask you, first of all, Free Your Love. I am still blown away that you wrote that for the Yardbirds. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah,
blown away.
1965, some time ago. Yes, hard to believe, really. 60 years ago that that was a hit. So, yeah, very happy about that. Started my whole career off, really.
This man wrote Bus Stop.
Yeah.
And this man also was in a band with Eric, a little band called the Mind Vendors.
Yeah, for a very short time.
Tell me about the anniversary tour that is happening.
Well, as you said, we're celebrating 50 years of the release of I'm Not in Love. Hard to believe it's been 50 years ago. And we obviously feature that song. We do all the hits that you would expect, various album tracks, and a couple of surprises as well.
Wanted to talk to you about some of your biggest hits, like I'm Not in Love. That song, so iconic, it was even featured on a record called Mr. Jaws. I don't know if you remember that in the 70s.
Yeah, a lot of our records have been sampled. Yeah, it's very, very interesting what people will do.
So tell me the story behind that song and why it's still so iconic today, one of the biggest hits ever.
Okay, well, we wrote the song along with lots of other songs, Eric Stewart and I, and it was just one of a bunch of songs that we were writing for the original soundtrack album. We liked the song, obviously, and we recorded it the first time as a bossa nova, and it didn't work. So we erased it, which seems a shame because it would be interesting to hear it now. But the song stayed with us, and between us, we came up with various different ideas, new production ideas. Kevin Godley had this idea of using all voices to record it, and we did that. But if we were going to record it with just voices, we had to have a rhythm track to sing to. But even when we did this rhythm track, the plan was to take that off somewhere down the line. There was something magical about it, and the song just has some kind of magical quality that I can't really explain why that song has it and other songs don't. But every sort of production idea that we came up with worked. And when we finished recording it, we knew that we recorded something great, but not one of us said, this could be a hit or anything like that. We just knew we'd created something, very special.
Well, 10cc was very experimental, like a song like Rubber Bullets.
Yeah.
Instance. Oh my Lord, that's like a Beach Boys song with the little jailhouse rock lyrics.
Yeah, there's definitely
song. Love that song.
There's definitely a Beach Boys. They were one of our influences. I mean, we were all influenced. We all had our different influences, but our common influences, I guess, were the Beach Boys, Steely Dan, and the Beatles, definitely. So that's what made 10cc work. The fact that there were four equal creative members of the band. It wasn't like there was one songwriter, one lead singer. That's what made us sort of special, I think. Maybe harder to identify than, say, a band like one of our contemporaries like Queen, where it was always Brian May's guitar and Freddie's voice. It was instantly recognizable. I mean, the majority of the time. I know other members of Queen sang, but so we had different singers singing different songs. I mean, we had 3 #1 records in the UK and 3 different singers on each one. So, but we used to pick the best man for the job. That was the principle that we had. You
experimented with a lot, like Dreadlock Holiday, like reggae.
Yeah.
A lot of experimentation. And I wanted to ask you about this a cappella version of Donna. I hear is being whose idea was that to come up with that arrangement for the
It was
tour?
Kevin Godley's idea.
Oh, it was his idea for that?
Yeah, because we used to do it like the original recorded version that was released in '72. And then Kevin suggested it to me and said, why don't you guys do an a cappella version of it? And he always comes out, Kevin and I still work together. We've worked on various projects over the years. And, but yeah, no, it was his idea and it works out. It works great in the show.
Yeah, I see that you and Kevin are still in touch. You did that
Yeah.
BBC thing last year. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we've done lots of stuff together.
And I mean, he's been busy. Directed many videos that I watched as a
Directed,
kid.
yeah. And I mean, after he and Lowell left the band, they had a lot of success in their own right as Godley and Creme.
Well, also directing the videos for the police, and U2 is
Uh,
even better than the real
yeah,
thing.
I mean, they were right at the beginning, in the right place at the right time, and really the one of the best video directing teams of all time, I think.
Yeah, they're behind the Wang Chung video too, right? Like genius
Yeah,
ideas.
yeah, everything they ever did. Herbie Hancock. There's too big a list to go through.
But after they left, I mean, you got the biggest hit of the band's career with the Things We Do for Love. I still have that 45 in my collection.
Yeah,
One of my favorite records, and such a disturbing album cover, by the way.
a disturbing. Remind me
those,
what it is.
those Hypnosis album cover.
Oh, the album. Oh, yeah. Well, Hypnosis were really important to 10cc. I mean, we used them pretty much all the time. And in the later on, not so much, but they were perfect for 10cc. They kind of were what we were to your ears, they were to your eyes. You know, it was very imaginative, very creative, I thought.
Who gave them the idea for like the Aquaman coming out of the water for Deceptive Bends?
Well, I came up with the title Deceptive Bends because it was a road that I used to drive down going to the studio, and instead of saying dangerous bends, as it might, you would think the Ministry of Transport might say, it said deceptive bends. And I thought that's interesting. It's such a sort of subtle way of saying it's deceptive rather than dangerous. And I realized that deceptive bends is dB, and dBs are what we measure sound in. And there were various other things that dB was, the initials dB were relevant to. And we gave that idea to Storm Thorgerson at Hypnosis. And the first idea he came up with, because I'd said it was something I'd seen on the road, he came up with something to do with roads, but we didn't care for it, it didn't work. And then he came up with Deceptive Bends as the bends, which a diver gets if he comes up too quickly in the water and nitrogen gets into his bloodstream. It causes the diver to have hallucinations. So that picture of the diver, he's suffering from the bends and he's imagining he's holding this beautiful woman in his arms, but it's an illusion. It's in his imagination.
Quite an iconic album cover.
Yeah, it's great. Absolutely brilliant. Love it.
But the Things We Do for Love, when you came out, like you had to prove that you could make a hit, and you did. Like, where did that song come from?
It was just another song that we wrote for the Deceptive Bends album. I think the fact that we probably felt we had to prove something. Kevin and Lol had left the band, so it was only half of us, and it wasn't just like two members leaving the band. It was half of the creative team. It wasn't because everybody wrote, everybody produced. We were very, very equal in our creative input into the band. And so I guess that we needed to prove something. It was very it was quite poppy. You know, I know that Kevin in particular didn't like the song, but
No?
no, he didn't. But anyway, that's by the by. He's entitled. But yeah, that was a big hit for us, particularly in America. It was, I think, it was even bigger than "I'm Not in Love" or sold more. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a big hit along with "I'm Not in Love."
So tell me about the tour, and we're going to be hearing a lot of the hits. And
You'll be hearing all the hits and more. Basically, all the hits that we had over our time together with the original band, plus the what I call Mark II 10cc. You'll hear all the songs that that I think everyone will want to hear. Plus various album tracks. There's a couple of surprises. We do one new song, a song that I wrote called "Floating in Heaven," which is about the James Webb Space Telescope. That's the only sort of new song that we do. Yeah, that's it.
Graham Gouldman, thank you so much for coming and talking. Remember, the show is the Carteret Pack, happening on September 13th. Can't wait to see the show.
Great.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. Nice talking to you, Michele.
Nice
Thank
talking
you.
to you too, Graham.
Okay, cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers.